Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and whatever else tumblers thought up to complain about this week. Welcome to a brief but eventful tour of my new ship, the XFA-63 Nightmare Child. It is a Vulture-class fighter ship, and I bought this specifically to mess people up. Because I already have my Dolphin, the LPT-31 Kestrel, which is fantastic for passenger missions. I'm making millions out of that. It's good for, well, I say it's good. It's decent enough for cargo runs, enough to make, $250,000 credits here and there as a bit of extra when I'm running passengers. But it's about as useful in combat. Well, basically, my best tactical option in combat with the Dolphin is to roll down the windows and throw rocks at them. Or just hope that my underpants haven't been stained enough by the shock to be used as a white flag. So, yeah, I felt I needed something with a bit more dakka. So, the only other combat-oriented ships, because I have currently now 4 ships available to me, which are my Sidewinder, the Valkyrie, which is completely useless. It's only there so if I ever screw up so badly that I'd be in a free Sidewinder, at least I get a couple of quick free upgrades. I've got my Viper Mark III, the Morgana, which is my combat-oriented ship up until now, but it's just outgunned, it really is. Its power management system isn't very good, so even when it's fully upgraded and stripped bare for pure combat purposes, firing the railguns, even at their lowest level, and even with everything else switched off, it still generates so much heat that it just can't cope. The end result of that is that it overheats and it doesn't do very well. And then, of course, there's the Dolphin, which we've been over its lack of combat virtues already. Whereas this beast is a designated military fighter ship, and therefore it only has 2 hard points, which is rather disgusting. I was under the impression it had more than that. But suck it up, this is what I get. But they are both large hard points, so they can fit some pretty big boomsticks. So I have here the 3B Plasma Accelerator, which does an obscene amount of damage. It does require ammunition, which is a pain in the arse, but the good news is that you don't need many shots with this thing. If you can take a target's shields down and hit them in any sort of critical system with that, they're not going to be doing much to you. It really is that simple. So that's how you cope with bigger targets than you. Like, I've seen people take out anacondas with these things, which is basically as close as you get to a Star Destroyer in this game. So, or that you can fly anyway. There are actually capital ships that look surprisingly like Star Destroyers, but you're not allowed to fly them there, in PC only. Up until recently, there was a multi-cannon installed on this as well, but I find it so contemptibly bloody useless that I've switched it out. Because the fact of the matter is, it takes a few seconds to spool up before it begins firing, and I have enough problems with that with the railgun. If you leave it firing and then draw it onto the target, it eats through ammunition in no time flat, which is a huge cockache. And it ends up draining my resources, because ammunition's not really that expensive, but it's still more money than I prefer to be spending. And to be honest, it didn't seem to be doing all that much damage to anything, so I've swapped it out for a beam laser, which I haven't yet tested out, because this thing has been on a trial run, and up until a certain point I was doing fine, and then it rather expectedly all went wrong. I do have 2 A-grade shield boosters on this thing, which give me 20% shield boost each, which is pretty handy. So, hence why shield strength is 410 right now. I do want a kill warrant scanner, but they don't sell them at this shipyard yet, so I'll have to deal with that later. I do need to upgrade the bulkheads. They are absolute crap right now. So I want to get something like the reinforced alloys here, which would be handy, but they're expensive, and I've already spent enough upgrading this thing today. The thrusters could do with a bit of work. The frame shift drive is obviously not at its best yet either. The power plant is as good as it's ever going to be. It's 4A here, so it's as good as I can realistically fit to this ship. Life support I never ever bother upgrading, because if it gets to the point where life support is necessary, I'm probably already doomed. So, if it's gotten that bad, you know. The power coupling has been upgraded, but it can go further. In an ideal world I want the 5A, but they don't sell them here. So, sensors again, they could be a bit more, but it also has the hull reinforcement package, which is why it's got a hull integrity of 618, so it can last a while in a firefight, but it's still a small ship at the end of the day. So in a one-on-one fight, this thing will destroy most targets, but I made the mistake of going into what I thought was a low-intensity combat zone. It wasn't, it was a high-intensity one. And I got a couple of kills with the plasma accelerator, and that seemed to piss off pretty much everyone in a 10 light year radius, and I just got ganked beyond belief. I did survive. Somehow. Basically, one of their missiles managed to get through my shields and it blew out my thrusters, at which point I think they just considered me harmless from that point on and buggered off. Which is a bit bloody insulting. But because of that, I was left drifting in space, completely out of control, like a Dalek on a roller rink. And it wasn't going well. My thrusters were down to 2% health. I had to completely switch off the entire ship and reboot it. And even then, it just barely got me moving, and I managed to limp back here. And I earned 36,000 credits from my kills, and I spent 37,000 credits on repairs. So, probably the worst test run of all time, but it did reveal a few weaknesses in the ship. Most notably the fact that the multi-cannon was a complete piece of crap. For optional intel, the shield generator urgently needs upgrading, but they don't sell anything even remotely decent here. They've only got class 3s, and I want to be rocking a class 5. So that I need to go and find a new place for it. It does have a fuel scoop on board, because why would I not? It's only a class 1 fuel scoop, but to be honest, the way I do my fuel scooping, I just park inside the Star and then just shut my engines down effectively, because provided I'm not moving, then I'm just essentially I'm stationary. Therefore, I'm not going to drift into the Star's corona or anything. I'm not going to catch fire, so I just leave it there and go get a drink. So, you know, it takes a couple of minutes to do it that way, but it's much cheaper. It gives me a chance to go get a drink. You know, there's no reason to equip any higher fuel scoop than that. I haven't bothered upgrading the Discovery scanner because this is a combat vessel. It doesn't need to do any discovering. It does have an FSD interdictor, but frankly I don't know how to use it. It's got a cargo rack, but I have every intention of getting rid of it as soon as there's some sort of advantage to doing so. I might see what I can swap it out for, maybe like a shield cell or something. So, I don't know. Maybe an extra fuel tank even. Yeah, increase this thing's rather pitiful fuel capacity. But then again, if because I've got the fuel scoop, the size of the tank is essentially irrelevant. Because provided I'm careful with where I warp to, I should be fine anyway. I do also want to get a paint job, but the website's down at the moment, so even if I can find the money in my account, I can't actually get anything. But yeah, that's it. The decals there. It is officially christened the Nightmare Child, and it operates here out of Moffat City in the Gilgamesh system. It's a decent ship. It's very manoeuvrable, I've noticed. So, like I said, in a one-on-one fight, this should take most targets. It's just that I wasn't in a one-on-one fight. I was in a 7-on-1 fight. Because people around here don't fight fair. But that's probably a tactical error on my part, let's be honest. So, I will go and find a more suitable target. I will have to warp away from the Gilgamesh system because, ironically, I've picked the worst possible place to set up a fighter base because I'm in a system full of fucking pacifists. There's no conflict anywhere in the system. There's no civil war, there's no pirates, there's no nothing. So, yeah. I do need to go and test out my new beam laser, so I might have to go on a bit of a journey. But provided that my balance is more than my insurance cost, I can afford to be a bit devil-may-care. So, I've got just enough for one rebuy. Never ever fly without a rebuy. They hammer that into you on the forums, and I'm going to do the same here. If your balance is less than your insurance cost, you play it safe until it's the other way around. You take data running missions if you have to. You never go into a combat situation or anything that might be dangerous if you can't afford your insurance. Because, well, unless you're at the start of the game when you're in a free sidewinder anyway, because at that point, who gives a smeck? If that thing gets blown up, it's no big deal. But, yeah. You don't want to have to spend ages grinding back to your ship. So far, I am enjoying the Nightmare Child, but it still needs some work, and it certainly right now needs a mission. I need something to bloody shoot at. What's the point in having a fighter ship if there's nothing to fight? Because everyone around here is a bunch of cowards. Oh, hang on. Pirate Lord Harry Millen. 156k in the... Oh, 28,000 light years. That's a trek. Yeah, no. That's a bit beyond my range, quite frankly. Anyway, that's it from me. I am just about done here, I think. So... This is the ship in its entirety. The Nightmare Child here. It's a good-looking ship. I do want to upgrade the paintwork. I don't like the colour. But again, with the livery store offline, there's nothing I can do. So, oh, incidentally, look, there's me. It's like my little pilot seat. This is the internals anyway. It's not my best looking ship, but it's got good visibility. So, again, that's the whole point really. It's designed as a fighter. But anyway, that's enough from me and from the Nightmare Child and from Moffat City and the Gilgamesh system. So, if you're playing Elite Dangerous and you see me around, feel free to say hi. I am usually pretty friendly, unless you try to interdict me, in which case I'll shoot you in the face. You know, you've only got yourself to blame in those circumstances. Just ask the AI. It never ends well for them. So, that's it from me. I shall make another video as soon as I've found something to shoot at, so we can see what this thing's really capable of. Until then, see you next time.